So what we have here is a hive that I wanted to follow through the year. As I've set up the camera, I just put a puff of smoke in the front, remove the brick that was sitting on top. This hive I did have a feeder on all winter long. Um, in the future, I don't think that I will be doing that. It really didn't seem to be helpful for the bees themselves. Sorry, the camera's gonna do some funny zooming in and out, but yeah. So here, just a couple puffs under the lid. It looks like there's a lot, but really very little is getting under that lid. I'm just trying to calm down the bees. It's probably about 50 degrees. Bees are out flying pretty good. A little, um, a little touchy because it's early in the year. Let's see here. And the main reason I don't think I'll be doing a feeder anymore is if you see there, I got a little bit of mold on the tops of the frames there. Not really worried about it. The bees will clean that up as the year goes on. And then you're gonna have to pardon my reach a little bit here. This side was the best looking side to actually get into this hive, um, just because it was lighter on resources on that frame. Um, as you can see, there do got some honey on that frame. It's not too terrible. The next frame over looks like it's doing a lot better, and that's what I'm just looking at. I'm just seeing what they have for stores. Um, yeah, that frame is probably about half. And I think at this point, oh no, I didn't. On a lot of these hives, when I was going through them, I just ended up taking that top box off and going straight to the bottom because that's where all the bees mostly were. And here I'm just flipping through, taking a look. I do notice some light frames in there. I do have another hive that I had taken off a bunch of honey um, because they just had too much. They had more than they were going to need for the spring. And all of this is sugar honey, so it's not even real honey, and I want to make sure it all gets used up before I actually need them, which, I mean, by the time I start collecting honey, it's going to be later in the year anyhow, so they'll use up all this. But so I will end up swapping out some of that stuff for um, sugar honey from another hive. Just kind of gently scooting that over, trying to get that little girl to get out of the way. There you go. Sorry, in the future, I will try to make sure I'm a little more cautious about how I look at these bees so I don't block the camera there. Uh, yeah. And so one thing I do hope to do is take this hive every time I go through it. I'll post a video, just talk about what I was doing. And actually, you can see there the next frame over. That one doesn't look like it has anything on it at all. And yeah, yep, pulled that one out. So these other ones, they may not look complete, but they might have plenty of resources that are opened up that they're working on. So that may be why I left them in there. My memory is a little fuzzy. I videoed this about a week ago, and so I I just swapped that one around. Must be, yeah, has quite a bit of honey on that one side. It's not capped, but they were working on it, so that's why I did that. I think I ended up taking those ones out here. Oh, and just putting that one, had, has some honey on it. They're working on it. Like I said, it's nothing I'm not terribly worried about. They got plenty of resources in there in that hive. Just And now I'm going through the other hive looking for a frame that has, or the box I have sitting on the other side from another hive that has honey in it. So I'm probably just looking for one that's got pretty good amount of honey on it. Some people might be a little concerned about getting them, at least here in uh, Nevada. It's been kind of cold this year. Really, the bees don't have much of an issue. I think I have this hive open for maybe 10 minutes at the most. It's not that big of an issue. And in this bottom box, we'll actually see the brood they got going on. And like I said, it looks like a lot of smoke, but really most of that's just hitting the side of the box. They're just getting a few little puffs inside there. My goal is not to actually smoke them too heavily. And what am I trying to get here? Oh, probably just trying to organize stuff. It's a little bit of an awkward place to have bees, but I like it because of the way they're arranged. The bees they stay out of most of the backyard. They don't have a huge flight path. And, this smoking it's just on the top. I'm not smoking it down into the frame, so you can see it kind of just blowing off the top. I'm just trying to get them off the top so I can remove some of this wax and burr comb so that I don't crush anybody when I put it back together. It makes it a little bit easier to looking at stuff. As you can see, looks like I accidentally left some treatment in there. Probably not the best move, but I pull it out here when I'm going through the frames. This outside frame, yeah, just shake those girls back in there. That's the hive they came from. I think I end up swapping. Oh no, that one's got quite a bit of honey on it, so we'll probably put that one back in once it's all said and done. And it's kind of interesting this year. It's kind of slow. Most years, by this time in the end of February, they have huge clusters built up of bees, and I don't see what we're going to end up seeing here. Come on, girls, get out of the way. All right, that's just an empty frame, or it has honey on it, or the other. Just nothing I need to, look at. And that's what it really comes down to, just understanding what's going on with the bees. Yeah, just kind of peeking on that. Pulled out that treatment that I'd left in there. This is the first time this year that I've gone into this hive, and so that's why I want to select this hive to go through. I got quite a bit of resources. Looking in there for eggs and larvae, see if they've, because I'm not sure if they've started building out their clusters yet. We will see that yes, they have, but usually by this time of year, the winter, is pretty mild this year, but it stayed fairly cool, and I think that kept them from really growing, because like I said, usually by mid-March or mid-February, they've I'm looking at probably half a dozen frames of brood, and there's barely any. I think in this hive there's like two frames of brood. And that one looks like it probably was brood, just because of how many bees are clustered in that section there. Again, propolis all over my fingers makes them sticky. Oh yeah, you can see the brood there on that frame. As I pull it up. One of these coming up frames, I actually do see the queen. I'll try to point her out. Of all the hives I went through this last week, I saw the queen in every single one of them, which was up there. There we go. And let's see. Did I not get her in frame? Oh, I'm pointing at her. Didn't you see that? Right off frame. But she was there. She was a little dark carniolan looking queen. But that frame was full of brood, both sides. And think the next frame over had a little bit of brood on it too. Sorry, as I get a little bit better at this, I hopefully will be able to be better at showing you what I'm working with. Man, these girls did a lot of propolis this year. Some people really don't like propolis. It doesn't bother me really one way or another, other than I get a little, oh yeah. So I'm done looking in the hive. I know that I have seen everything I want to see. Have the queen, brood. Don't really want to expose that brood for too terribly long. And I guess all those frames on the bottom had a decent amount of resources on them, so I probably just left them there. I don't end up putting that feeder back on. It is, oh, I'm doing an oxalic acid treatment. This is a really good time of year to do that. There's, you know, probably should have got this a couple weeks earlier before they had all that brood, but you know, it's really is a good time to treat for mites. Just because there's no brood, so you have a really good kill with a very mild chemical like oxalic acid, which is what I was using there. Gently put that back together. I ended up crushing one there. Get her out. And then what I do, I get it all squared up here. I'm making a Vivaldi board style system. This is what I do for most of my hives. This year I just want to try to see if they would take feed over the winter if they needed it. Several hives I did do that, but most of the hives, what I do is I put this little screened box on, and it looks like I didn't show that. I put a little screened box on. Oh, there we go. And some burlap. Yeah, so that just kind of keeps them out of my area. And then that just lets them, and this is only going to be on for a couple weeks anyhow, just until it starts to, once we get to mid-March, then they'll really be getting close to being time for splits, so that's when I'll take that off.